Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch of Crime Talk, and thank you for tuning in. First on the docket, you think you'll never be arrested wrongfully? Watch this. Second, a Lori Vallow update. Third, a Baltimore police officer coughing on citizens. And fourth, our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch from Crime Talk, and thank you for tuning in. We hope that your stay-at-home orders are just a little bit better by watching Crime Talk. First on the docket, think you'll never be arrested wrongfully? Watch this. This is a video of Matt Mooney. He's 33, and he lives just down the street from my offices in Brighton, Colorado. And he was at the park on Sunday with his 6-year-old daughter and wife playing t-ball, exercising some social distancing. Well, guess what? A former city council person called the police and said that somebody was in the park because it was closed. Well, the police arrive, not one, not two, but 3 police officers arrive. They tell Mr. Mooney, first, the park is closed. He respectfully says, no, it's not. I'm familiar with what's going on here, and I know that the park is open. The police then demand for his identification. He says, no, I'm not going to give you my identification because I'm not committing a crime. I'm not a suspect. Guess what? Mr. Mooney is a former state patrol officer, so he knows a little bit about the law, just enough to say, I know when something's not right, and he stood up for it. Well, the Brighton Police Department were going to have none of that. So they said, if you don't produce your identification, guess what? We're going to handcuff you in front of your 6-year-old daughter. They did that. Then they put him in the police car where he sat for some 10 to 15 minutes when his wife and child are out there. And the daughter apparently is emotional that they're arresting her father at a park when he's done nothing wrong. Ultimately, he's released, okay? This, ladies and gentlemen, is a classic example when you give somebody authority, somebody is going to abuse it. Now, the Brighton Police Department has issued an apology, and they have stated that they are deeply sorry and that the officers engaged in what they refer to as a complete overreach. Yes, I would say violating someone's constitutional rights by arresting them when no crime has been committed. And let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, he was under arrest. He was not free to leave. In fact, he was handcuffed. He was placed in the back of the police car. You can only do that when you have probable cause. They realized they had no basis to arrest Mr. Mooney. He only did one thing wrong. He exercised his rights, ladies and gentlemen, and the people in authority don't like it when you exercise their rights. All right? Mr. Mooney got an apology. It wasn't that same day. No. Did those officers apologize? No. It had to come later from higher up. And guess what? Brighton Police Department, you should get your checkbook ready. Write a check to Mr. Mooney. I don't know. What is the appropriate dollar amount to be wrongfully arrested, accused in front of your family and your 6-year-old daughter that you've been accused of breaking a crime, to see the daughter, see you hauled away and put in a police car for doing nothing wrong? What do you think that is worth? Let me know in the comments below. I think it's going to be a big, big check, and the Brighton Police Department got it wrong. And here's the problem. You know, police officers deal with a lot of crap. I get it. It's a dangerous job. You deal with the public. But a little bit of common sense here, ladies and gentlemen. Like, why couldn't they look it up and see that the park wasn't closed? They didn't do that. What's wrong with this little busybody out there reporting people that are in an open park exercising social distancing? And you have to remember, we've talked about this, and I know people are going to get upset with me, but there's a real problem with these executive orders. They're a policy. They're not a law. A law has to be passed, right? Through the state, goes through the legislature, both houses, signed by the governor. Executive order, it's a policy. It's a suggestion. This is the way we're going to do business. Same thing with city council. They have to pass an ordinance, pass it, vote on it. Executive orders really are not really worth the paper they're written on. It's simply guidance to the people out there. That's it. And these officers, first of all, are wrong. They need to be disciplined and not just, oh, we're sorry. You know what? And this is the problem. When people's constitutional rights are violated, who winds up paying? It's not the police officers. It's not the guys that screw up, that in the words of their superiors, overreach. It's the citizens of the jurisdiction that write this check because someone can't exercise some common sense or, God forbid, maybe call somebody up with a little bit of knowledge. Most police officers, when they go to their post academy, their post training to become police officers, get about a week, 40 hours worth of training as it relates to the law. Okay? Not that much. As an attorney that's practiced criminal law for 25 years, still has to look it up. It's changing all the time. And how do we expect these police officers who got their 40 hours of training to somehow be experts in the law? But guess what? When you start arresting people, you have to be. It's that simple. These cops got to pay. They got to get more than an apology because, frankly, it's kind of like the, if these cops can't figure this out, I'm not sure they can handle greater responsibility. They need to go away. Next on the docket, Lori Vallow. She's back in court. I know for those of you who like to leave the comments, why do you not refer to her as Lori Vallow Daybell? Well, Lori Vallow. That's what we're going to call her. All right. Well, she was back in court. As you know, she was extradited back from Hawaii for a warrant for her arrest for a show cause for not producing her children. Her children, JJ and Tylee, have not been seen for months. She refuses to cooperate with the authorities and say where they are. She's now being charged with desertion, and she is being held in jail on a $1 million bond. When original bond was brought back from Idaho, it was much higher, and then it was reduced to $1 million. Needless to say, Ms. Vallow remains in custody, and her attorney, along with the departure of some other attorneys, have now asked that the bond issue be re-argued. Now, we've explained this before, but when you argue bond, you have to show changed circumstance. You get one bite at the apple when it comes to bond. Usually when you're first arrested, Ms. Vallow had hers. Other than the passage of time of, wow, it's been like a month and I've been in custody and I really don't like it, is not a basis to argue for bond. So what Mr. Means, Ms. Vallow's attorney, has attempted to do was that he filed an affidavit, an amended motion for bond reduction, basically saying that new facts have come to light, and that's warranting a new motion. And he says, hey, I filed this motion, Judge, and you haven't even responded. Well, guess what? Remember, Mr. Means, you're the one that recused the original judge that reduced the bond. So now you're trying to play games, judge shopping, because of this rule in Idaho where it says you can recuse one judge. So nothing's been decided on that. And basically what the attorney, Mr. Means, says that he's now the attorney of record, and he's filed this motion to reduce the bond. And that really what it amounts to is he's got a lot of paperwork to go over with his client. So it's alleged that in his motion that 1,600 pages of documents, as well as records totaling approximately, so it was alleged in his motion that he had received 1,600 pages of documents and records, as well as 14.6 gigabytes of video and electronic intangible production of items from the district attorney's office. Needless to say, it's going to take him a while to get through this, and frankly, he has to go to the jail to meet with his client, and it is inconvenient. Well, guess what? Things are a little more inconvenient now because of the COVID outbreak. they're exercising some social distancing and trying to make sure that the virus does not spread throughout the jail, so they're taking steps to minimize that. So apparently the attorney was rather upset that he had to talk through glass, and basically it's unfortunate that things aren't going the way he would like them to go. Now, the state does admit that they mistakenly recorded a phone call, and when the sheriff learned that they had recorded a phone call between Ms. Vallow and her attorney, they immediately deleted that item. That's another reason why Mr. Means is asking for a bond reduction, so that basically Ms. Vallow can come to his office and review the discovery. Now, the district attorney gave a rather straightforward and pointed response. Basically, it was, hey, Ms. Vallow's bond is at $1 million after previously been reduced from the $5 million. And now the defendant, Ms. Vallow, is asking that her bond be reduced to $10,000, or in the alternative, $50,000. And the district attorney also notes that they disqualified the sitting judge who had reduced the bond to $1 million and now are trying to seek similar relief from a different judge. The district attorney kind of makes a pretty good jab and basically says the defendant has yet to comply with the valid court order to produce her children in the related child protection action. The court should make obedience to said order or a show of good cause for why the defendant cannot obey said order a condition for any future bail reduction. Kind of makes sense, right? Defense attorney wants her out. Prosecution says, hey, produce your kids, we'll let you out. Seems pretty straightforward, at least as a condition of any further bond reductions. Needless to say, the district attorney is objecting to any reduction, and we shall see. Now, in supplemental discovery requests, the attorney for Ms. Vallow has requested all kinds of information on top of all the 1,600 pages of documents. Specifically, Vallow is asking for toxicology and autopsy reports for Charles Vallow and Joe Ryan, who are both ex-husbands of Lori Vallow Daybell and Alex Cox, her brother. Toxicology and autopsy reports for Tammy Daybell, the late wife of Chad Daybell, and who, obviously, Chad Daybell, we all know, married Lori Vallow 2 weeks after Tammy Daybell's death. Names of the investigative authorities and officials, and 2 years' worth of email from Lori's computer, social media posting, dating, and romantic website information, along with all financial records. All right? The district attorney, if they have it in their possession, is going to have to turn that over. But what he's asking for is information related to matters going on in the state of Arizona. The district attorney has no control over the authorities and frankly has no basis to request it. If they get it, they can turn it over. But they can't go and say, we need this document. It's not in their care, custody, control, and they don't control or supervise or regularly deal with the police in Arizona. So this request is some sort of Hail Mary, probably trying to get a feel for what the heck is going on in Arizona, since there's been reports that Lori Vallow may be charged with the death of her ex-husband. We'll have to wait and see. This attorney for Vallow is all over the place. He knows better. And if he doesn't, he shouldn't be handling basically this desertion case and trying to advise on a potential homicide case. Like I said, I looked at his website. It looks like he did some bankruptcy, mediation, and some family law. Somebody needs to get a criminal defense attorney for Ms. Vallow because she is digging herself in deeper by the actions of her attorney. Next on the docket, a Baltimore police officer now has an investigation open against him. Why, you say? Because he was walking through some projects, and apparently there were some catcalls and harassment by the residents in the projects. And the police officer, as he walks by, coughs several times without covering his mouth. The police are opening an investigation to see if it's appropriate. Was it appropriate? Probably not. because the police officers need to conduct themselves in a manner more professional than those in which they're dealing with. I know it's hard sometimes. I know, let's face it, the woman that's recording this, hollering at the police, boy, she's a classy one, right? Those are the kind of people the police have to deal with on a daily basis. But the police have to rise above that nonsense and be professional. And unfortunately, now this cop has to deal with an investigation on something where he just should have exercised a little bit of self-control and let it go. But he didn't. Too bad for him. Next on the docket, our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Well, take a look at this woman. Does anybody recognize her? The police would like to find out. And it's not just because they want her to claim her dumb criminal contestant mug of the day. No, they would like to arrest her and prosecute her. This woman was at a local Walmart store in Massachusetts. And apparently when she got to the checkout register, she was advised that she was limited in the number of Lysol cans that she could purchase. Apparently becoming frustrated with this and not saying, ooh, I wasn't aware of that policy. No. She didn't set one down and be a reasonable, rational human being. No, what did she do? She removed the top and sprayed the Lysol into the eyes of the clerk at Walmart. Really? Well, that in and of itself does not make this unidentified individual our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Why, you ask? Because apparently they were able to observe her on camera, apparently paying for the Lysol at like a different register, and then she gets into an Uber and drives away. This unidentified woman is our dumb criminal contestant of the day, and I'm telling you, she is rapidly passing the competition thus far this week, because if anyone knows anything, when you go into a Walmart, you go into a Target, their security is so good. We're talking like casino type good, super good quality, all right? This probably HD 4K quality. They're gonna get you. It's on video. Every inch of that store and parking lot is covered on video. You should know better. And then to spray somebody with Lysol because you can't buy more than one? You, ma'am, are our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Feel free to contact us. We can notify the authorities that you contacted us, and we will ship you the mug. Save everybody a lot of work. But yes, you've earned it. That's all we have for you today on Crime Talk. We cannot say thank you enough. We appreciate you taking the time. We know you have lots of things that you could be watching right now, and the fact that you take the time to watch us is greatly appreciated. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow on Crime Talk.